Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow. We'll take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination fly. We're diving into the past with a touch of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, the ultimate pop culture lair.
Oh, so happy it's Thursday, at least for another 22 minutes. Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center. Oh, so happy it's Thursday live stream. I'm your host. Don't know where the hell my wingman is right now. He'll be here eventually. But we're just going to keep going. Tonight's topics are, as you saw in the thumbnail, we're going to go over the new Beverly Hills Cop trailer. And before I get going, I hope you're not serious with this question, Clint, but I'll go ahead and answer it anyway. I'm wondering what Charles Barkley has to do with science fiction, but who knows? Same thing that 40% of the other topics that aren't science fiction and horror fantasy are. None of our musical topics are science fiction. The good half of our trailers are not science fiction. It is the basis and core of the show, but I mean, it's never, and we've never executed it as an exclusive, situation. But if you have to know, and I'll answer it, Charles Barkley engaged in interaction with David Zassoff, who would appear to be about to lose the NBA on TV TNT deal. That's critical because a little company called Warner Brothers Discovery owns IPs and related content that make up, personally for me, half the things in my store, half of the movies I engage with. And as a sports fan, an NBA fan, yeah, this affects your host. So just amongst other things, but the fact that there's a Warner Brothers Discovery connection and the state of that company directly affects me, by the way. If DC company is in a shit state, half of my inventory is in a shit state. So if you're a superhero movie fan and you're the company that owns those IPs, just lost something that basically you inherited, that doesn't bode well for the company, and that will have a direct effect on those IPs that you engage, both now and in the future. So I could go 10, 20 other reasons why Charles Barkley is on our thumbnail, but those are a couple of them. So hopefully I answered all those questions. All right, if you would like to donate to the show, streamups.com/Sci-Fi Center, SAS tip. A lot of stuff coming up. As far as upgrading the shows goes, obviously you've seen an upgrade in the quality of the show. You've seen an upgrade the equipment, updated equipment. You're about to see an upgrade in the where we stream from, because I want to start streaming less and less from the Sci-Fi Center and more from here, so that I'm not tethered there at crazy ass hours. If I don't want to be Saturday nights, I'm always open, but there are other nights where I want to do a production that looks as nice as the store background does. So I'm working on that right now. The monthly fees and things like that for StreamYards, things, so any tip that you do help, and we'll read your comment or question on the air as long as it's appropriate. See the duck, how you doing, Vince? Yeah, this is we're gonna go into that after I say hi. See, yeah, it's not an option, and the fact that the way this all began bad, and if you look at this Zaslav administration, this is a pattern. It all starts bad. The DCU started bad. This negotiations with NBA and TNT, which is a staple. I really enjoy that president. Even if my team's not in it, those guys put on a presentation. They are iconic. I mean, all you really had to do as somebody who is inheriting that is not fuck it up. So it looks like they're on the verge of doing just that. Before we get to anything, though, we are going to hit the ban list. Banned from discussion list. X-Men and Batman animated series. Pineapple on anything. It's disgusting. Dumb Good Burger jokes. James Gunn in the DCU. That might be a little bit temporary tonight. Venom and Bane. Let's see, I got stuff in the way. And that's it for right now. But just as this list was revised, the banned from discussion list is ever growing. And you guys give me new content to add on it every single show. So expect this list to be growing and being page one of many. So there you go. All right. Brad went to go see Furiosa, so he does the whole nap thing afterwards. So he may not be on, but I kind of hosted the show for about a year or so before I had him. I'd rather have him, but if he's sleep, he's sleep. All right, so yeah, especially when it comes to live sports, TNT, the Warner Brothers Discovery Company has NHL. And it has baseball, and it has some other stuff. But the NBA is their big cheese. They don't have the NFL. And as much as I love the NHL, its viewership is not even a quarter of what the NBA is. It's the same thing with Major League Baseball. You got good ratings, really good ratings for Major League Baseball playoffs and things like that, but nowhere near with the NBA. And the NBA is throughout the season. It's not just play. They only have the rights to those other things on the playoff things. So, when it comes to this, anything that happened with WB does not happen in a vacuum. If you're in the comic books, this matters to you. If you're into Warner Brothers video games, this matters to you. If you're into Warner Brothers films, this matters to you. If you have HBO Max, all of this matters to you. There's no such thing as any of this anymore happening or existing without having an effect on anything else that you do. He's already proven that. They're about to launch a universe. If they can't maintain the ownership of something that has been on their network for over 2 decades, something as popular and valuable as the NBA, why would I have any faith or belief that anything that they're going to do is going to be followed through? You literally walked into NBA on TNT. It was already there. There are people who don't watch basketball but for the NBA on TNT. So if your first statements when you start a negotiation is that we don't need the NBA, that's the first thing out of your mouth before the negotiations even start, then every decision you make has been suspect. And this isn't, this is just another pattern of detachment. Knowing things on surface value, on face value, and not really caring any deeper than that. He hired James Gunn based on surface knowledge that from Marvel movies that I promise you, I would bet that he never saw. I doubt he's looking at NBA as anything less than a number. It's a brand name. It's brand loyalty. Now, everything he's done, I haven't been too critical of, like the Acme thing, Wile E. Coyote, Wonder Twins, stupid stuff like that he inherited. Those are fine, but you're talking about good things that you inherited. And like I said, if they are to lose the NBA on TNT, that is going to be a huge hit for Warner Brothers Discovery. That is going to make it more than likely that there will probably be new leadership or new owners of said company, and everything that I've invested in on paper, everything else is going to change. It's another shift because a new sheriff brings his own deputies in. That's why everything matters. Everything is connected, whether you want it to be or not, or whether you believe it to be or not, or whether you know it is or not. The more you know about the situation, the more you understand how just because you might be viewing this thing from your vantage point doesn't mean that there's something else on the other side of that will be screwing that vantage point. The basis and justification for a guy like James Gunn being hired was all Zaslav. That was his call. If these situations keep going this way and he's no longer there, why am I investing in anything that comes out of that? It's just not stable. The stock's at 746, I think. These are things that cause desperate moves to be made. And yeah, sports. If you have the NBA and everybody, Amazon wants these rights, Comcast wants these rights, so right there, they're valuable. So yeah, it's one more suspect decision from this administration that makes me wonder. Every time I see that logo, should I just sit back and wait? Why actively engage in any of this stuff when I don't really know where it's going? So, and when it starts to hit sports, it's one thing when it hits comic books and comic book movies. This is starting to hit, on levels outside of geekdom, but that are just as important as geekdom. So there you go. Yeah, that's going to be a tough one to swallow. But once again, though, the Christmas Day, it rarely follows. Like I said, you only have it fall on Sunday that often. NBA, no matter what Christmas day is, the season unofficially begins on Christmas Day. That's the largest viewership of the year until the NBA Finals. Let's see. All right, you guys are talking to each other. If you have a question for me or when Brad jumps on, please put @ so that way I can just I can go through. Oh, you guys are talking about the internet. Sounds like internet's awful. Not yet. I don't think it's going to be around long enough to end up on my list, to be honest with you. I don't know what the new company will be called. Nah, like I said, big fan of NBA on TNT, and it's just like I said, in a vacuum, if you don't understand how WB, how the company like WB is structured, you would probably not understand why I got Charles Barkley's big head on my thumbnail. But if you do understand and care how that company functions, then that's like a canary in the case, in the mine, Let's see. Oh, that's right, Jalen. You haven't been here since. Yeah, thank you. That is courtesy of Vince. Vince created that opening for me. Looks like something fell. What do you? Oh, I don't have my big gold sitting up on its edge because I'm putting it in. I don't. Is that what you guys are referring to? All right. So I'm skipping all the nonsense. Fourth, I'm just going to roll past you. We're not banning wrestling. Now, I know you're not being serious because you're bringing up shit that you know is never fucking ever going to happen. Nice try, though. We have no reason to ever speak of Scary Movie again because, unless we're running a fundraiser, we won't. It won't be brought up because it's a stupid movie. No, Netflix business model is a big part of what we do, what we watch, what we talk about. Let's see. Hello, happy Friday, Ray. How you doing? Uh, Unless your host changes, the NBA is not banning, and I doubt the host of this show is going to change since it's kind of my show and my face is right there, up on the above the show's logo and name, and so. Let's see, but yeah, I mean, unless the Lakers were to move to Utah or something like that, we'll probably be talking NBA as long as I'm here. Let's see. There might be one tonight if Brad shows up in time. I'm probably not gonna get a chance to see Furios anytime soon. Let's see. Hello, saying hi to everybody. Let's see. Krusty. Okay. Now, listen, I like Charles. I like Charles is a Hall of Famer. I watch NBA. Like I said, yes, I'm a science fiction geek, but it's one of the reasons why I kind of did my own format is because I could have those kind of conversations wherever I wanted to, just like my store. I see people that come in with certain jerseys and we talk sports. We talk wrestling. But yeah, this time it is a degree of separation because we're talking about something that affects a lot of content that we watch, and in my case, sell. Literally, like I said, half of your major IPs are connected to this company. That is like I said, the only person that wins out of this is Tony Khan because he will be under a lot of they will be under a lot of pressure not to extend AEW because they won't have any excuse now because you got the money, and I think Tony Khan saw this coming. I think that's why Tony Khan held out because remember there was an offer on the table already for AEW's extension, and he turned he decided not to take it at the time, and I think it's because of this. I mean, he had to see something like this coming because that that puts the ball in his court. If they were to lose, NBA, that would put I doubt they're going to be under a lot of pressure not to lose the only other live action that they have. Yeah, it's scripted, but it's still live television. Live television is still a huge draw. So not only would they have probably the money that Tony Khan is looking for, he would have a lot more leverage to say, "Hey, you just lost the NBA. This ain't going too well. Why don't you double down on us?" So Tony Khan is probably salivating right now. So yeah, it's definitely good for him. How you doing, Dark Knight? What's going on? Yeah, that's what I mean. It's literally see. This is when I say this, and this is another reason why I should have put HBO Max's logo up there above Charles's logo because these are things that are iconic to the company. These are things that people always remember being there. They're always there, and they're associated heavily with your brand, and they're gone. And when you are being misused, Max, come on, dude. I can't remember too much earlier that my life without having that HBO iconic logo. Remember Saturday nights when the little thing would go throughout the little fake city and you knew you were watching something on Saturday night, and then that big silver HBO logo would come down and turn toward you. You knew you were watching something on Sunday night, or that static that goes on before every Sunday night Game of Thrones, Sopranos, 6 Feet Under, Watchmen, all these shows. They have built a brand, and now you took away one of the most important things about that brand, which is the name, and it's detached. It's like this guy, didn't seem to understand the culture of the company that he was acquiring, and it's starting to show. Because, like I said, you're not going to be able, if this happens, if this happens, you're not going to be able to go back. Because once Amazon has it, you're never getting that back because you'll never be able to outbid them. Comcast gets it. One of the biggest regrets that NBC Sports has always said was giving up the NBA. During the Jordan era, doing all that, they had that on there. They allowed themselves to get outbid. And since then, nobody else has made that mistake. You know, you had they lost their contracts to ABC, and then they lost the rest of them to TNT. So, yeah, you know, when you have something like that is part of your brand, people fight and pay billions to have that brand name recognition, and they're just handing it off. It's just weird. Like I said, hopefully, the deal hasn't been signed. It's still at this moment 11:57 on 5/23. It still belongs. The rights still belong to WBD. It doesn't look good as far as him keeping them, but anything. I could wake up tomorrow and maybe Zazoff watching the show. He's like, I can't lose the NBA. Dude, your stock's at 740 now, or 760. I don't think it's going to go up with this news. How low can it go? Ugh. Yeah, now that one, was a Nolan thing because he peed in his pants about the day and date releases of some of their stuff that during COVID, which, to be honest with you, was the right decision. That was actually pre Zazoff. I don't think what he's done, you know, I don't think he's done anything to help it, but that was something that may have you know, I think as soon as he took over, he should have basically called all these guys in a meeting and said, we did what we needed to do, but we can make this work for you. It's never happened. Let's see. Ruth there? Where's my favorite serial killer at? I didn't see Poppy here. Oh, hi, Ruth. Oh, there's Aaron. Let's see. Gotta try to get through these. I want to watch what's something else is not science fiction. I can't wait to see Beverly Hills Actual F. It just looks like a lot of fun to me. And like I said, I'm not. If you watch the show long enough, you know I'm not a big nostalgia guy. I don't want to go backwards. But like I said, there have been instances where the nostalgia does work. Where that thing that made that thing special still kind of has it. And I think the new trailer popped today, so I'm going to watch that. Crazy Joe cracked me up. Said Max's chat Furiosa was just a bunch of cars running around the desert. So man, well, I hope so. I'm sold. I hope I have a chance to see it. But yeah, that's. I would be disappointed if I showed up and it wasn't. Let's see. Well, if you could give the director of Godzilla -1 on Star Trek movie or a Marvel movie, what would you pick and why? Marvel movie, I'd want him to do the X-Men. I think that particular person's storytelling apparatus would fit well, could be adjusted well to the X-Men. As far as a Star Trek movie, if they ever made a Star Trek Enterprise G movie, I think that would be good for him as well. Or a show, one of the two. Let's see. Yeah, Crazy Joe's kind of fun. When I stream, when we would do our late night streams, he would be on Enoch's, and like I said, he was kind of like Chappie. He had some crazy stuff to say. I don't know whether it was for a response or whether he truly believed it, but you know what? He made his case for anything he brought up, though. And 9 months as the NBA, it's like, yeah, dude. It like I said, it starts with preseason and October, and it's still running now. NBA season the conference finals will be the end of NBA's and TNT's, but still, we're talking like it's May 24th right now. That's a long run, and twice a week. and then you got your playoffs. You got your ad revenue from that is huge. Now remember, I try to buy ad revenue on some of these things, and NBA on TV that's high. That's our highest one that they currently have. Second is AEW. So if you want to run a commercial or a local commercial through Cox Cable or any of these national ones on that, those are going to be your high because it's prime time and it's live sports. So that alone justifies, because you can turn around and charge your subsidiary rates. I don't understand. I don't know. I'm not in Zaslav's office, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. And like I said, despite all the goofy mistakes and misjudging that I think that he may have done, he's still infinitely better than the Hamada Sarnoff in the Imrak regime. Yeah, I mean, he literally there's on his worst day, he's better than they were on their best day. Unfortunately, it was because of them that he's even here, though. If WBD or Warner Brothers had been ran properly prior to his arrival, David Zaslav wouldn't be here because the company would have never sunk into the value of widget where it could be purchased by Pimple Popper, dude. So it's a vicious circle, man. Listen, as crazy Joe might be, his opinions will be just as valid as mine. I sent people to actually no, because we did we did some content. I talked to some people, not everybody I talked to. I thought Madam Web was a disappointing. It was a mess with a lot of potential. If they had made the movie that they set out to make instead of panicking and giving us that, you probably would have had a pretty decent movie. Would have been Godfather worthy? No, most movies aren't. But I have ran into people who like it. I've been talking to people trying to figure out how it was number one on PVOD, and I know some people who watched it on PVOD. People paid $19. I struggled to pay the 14. But there are people, and there are plenty of them, that have laid down money, and it's not just you just want to see a train wreck. You can see a train wreck later on down the line for a lot less than that. So somebody is enjoying the movie. So when it comes to film, it's subjective. If he didn't like I haven't seen Furiosa, but if somebody were to come up to me and give me reason for liking Furiosa, there are some people who just don't like that style of movie. Maybe there are people who like Justice League over. I mean, there are people out there, and you just can't necessarily, as crazy as their opinions are. It's really hard to dismiss them, Especially when I've talked to people who echo some of the same thing. Now, is it the majority? No. But there's significant enough people. Like I said, Madam Web, was made a pretty decent chunk of change on PVOD, and people were watching it on Netflix. So I don't know why, but you got to ask them. How you doing? It's taken a long time to see, man. I just started getting into the world of basketball. I played a little. I was wondering right now is a good time because the playoffs are happening, but during the regular season, just watch a lot of the regular season games. Wherever your local team is, you probably have a local team contract. But watch a lot of ESPN. Also, you know what? Watch some WNBA. A lot of people shade the WBA, but it's basketball. It's not, big 200-pound dudes, hanging on the rim all the time, but basketball for the most part is basketball. 90 feet, bam, bam. There's your hoop, there's your 3-point line. Pick and roll plays. I mean, X and O's wise, it's basketball. It's basketball. You can learn as much about basketball watching any form of basketball. You can also watch college basketball. Now that the rules are different as far as like the length and a foul, things like that. But as you're learning about those other forms, you will learn the difference between all the other professional stuff. So that's my advice. Has it been 40 years? I cannot believe where this is going to happen. Like I said, and to me, my question is, if you can lose something like this, that is big, that is desirable, my belief in that anything that you're working on right now is going to come to fruition is shaken. There's no way that I could see this and wonder and invest my time into anything that they're doing. Unless it's being done by somebody else and they're just basically the distributor. You want me to, I keep seeing these pictures and set visits to Scott Snyder's at James Gunn's so and so, and I know it's a bad topic, but it connects to this. Why, like I said, you couldn't keep the NBA. Why am I going to start in something else that it's not going to get finished? And that's anything. And next time he says there's going to be, well, we're looking to do this and we're about to unveil this, I'm going to be like, you lost the NBA. I'm like, like I said, Zazzy, if you're watching, find a way to keep that shit, man. Because a lot of that's a big demographic to lose. And not only when you lose something like that, your ad time and everything else, you lose the ability to showcase your other things. If you have a DC movie, you have a lot of people are watching these markets on the NBA. A lot of people like on YouTube and Twitter think that's not the case, but the average fan watches live sports. That's why the ad revenue is so high, because it's a perfect place to put your commercials that the general demographic sees it. That's why football revenue. That's what a lot of football revenue. That's what justifies the TV ratings and TV contracts. All that stuff is tied together. So that's why nobody wants to lose live sports of any kind. Nobody wants to lose live sports. All the ones who have lost in the past 30 years have regretted. Like I just said, NBA on NBT was huge during the Jordan era. They fought tooth and nail to keep that. Couldn't keep it. So it's especially in the streaming era. A lot of people want to watch their live sports through that same streaming service. So, yeah, man, it's just weird to see these things that are such a big part of this company just to say good, I think the Acme would have lost money. Here's a telling thing about the Acme movie is, okay, so when they put it up for sale, right? They all they wanted was the rules were, as long as they didn't lose any money off it, they could turn it over and tax write off if they want to, because if somebody would have offered them the production value of it, then IRS would have been like, well, you didn't have to put this on here because the very worst, you're breaking even. It's not a debt. Nobody wanted to even pay them their production cost on it. So it made no sense for them, and like I said, they had already done the research on it when they designated it as a write-off. Outside third sources had determined that it was going to lose them money. That is why it should have never been made. But those are the type of decisions that the people who got chased out of the company were making. That's how you go from $74 billion to $43 billion with $29 billion in debt. All right. Things like Acme, like I said, we can sit here. And by the way, nobody gave 2.5 shits about that movie before it was about to get yanked. Now all of a sudden, everybody's like, "Oh, I can't believe you're doing this to kind of." You guys wouldn't have known that movie if it dropped and split you on your forehead. Nobody knew it. Nobody fucking cared about that movie. All right, but until it was about to get scrapped. Oh, and now everybody's like up in arms over it. So yeah, but everybody on the internet wants them to anybody. I don't know anybody in my lifetime that will just lose money for the sake of losing it, especially if you're in debt. So yeah, and I know a lot of people, I would have seen it. Okay, great. There's a lot of people who said they were going to see certain movies, didn't go see them in the theaters, and people end up losing money on it. And they decided that they didn't want to lose money on it on a streamer. So because you would still have to pay people royalties for a movie that Warner Brothers in animation is that's one thing that Zaslav has done that the people who've been running Warner Brothers for the last 35 years should have done. They should have consolidated their animation division in the early 90s and didn't, because they didn't want to. It will be like McDonald's getting rid of Ronald McDonald. But guess what? It can exist without it. When's the last time you saw Ronald McDonald in any McDonald's commercial? So, yeah, there's some cool shit on there just from the fucking previews. Oh, it would be going to Peacock. Peacock. If Comcast gets it, it would be going to Peacock. And you'd see games probably put on NBC and NJ. If Amazon gets it, then you would probably see it through MGM Plus or anything like that. But both of them could afford it. Yeah, some people do, but like I said, it's just having those in their library was costing them money whether people watched them or not. Especially the newer stuff. Especially when you're talking about movies and guys like John Cena and his salary, those movies just don't sit there. The reason why you see a lot of stuff disappearing off of streaming sometimes is because they don't want to pay the royalties. That's what the whole strike issue was. One of the main issues about the strike was that, with streaming coming in, the people who were part of that content being created are not getting paid residuals because, throughout. So now if they have to pay residuals on something that nobody's watching, it's not worth it for them to keep it on there. In many cases, it's not worth it for them to make it in the long run. I don't know how long it's going to drop, how much it's going to drop, but I can't see this helping. Unless the people who are buying stocks are like, oh, well, it's not, man, they like the fact that NBA. I don't think so. That's tough, man. Like I said, it's so iconic. It's so iconic and it's so successful. I believe it's the highest rated programming. As a matter of fact, I think NBA is Warner Brothers Discovery's highest live rated programming, which means it's its biggest revenue generator. TV. Wow, I just can't believe it. Can't believe it. I don't know if Apple's in the running. I know Amazon and Comcast are. But, is in an issue of debt at WB simply not having enough money at capital to match the bids. Basically, they can't afford to keep. Well, okay, if that was the case, him coming out saying we don't need NBA, that was probably not the biggest deal. They could, you could still, if he wants to, he could still make a bid. He could still outbid them, if to a certain extent. I just don't get the sense he's even taking that next step because what he can do is he can get finance. He can borrow. There are certain things you can do to keep what's called critical assets. So if it's considered a critical asset, a lot of times you can reshuffle money. You can do things. You can bring people on board. There's ways to get that these guys get money when it's something they really want to do. And like I said, that's a critical NBA. I believe NBA is a critical action. Now, here's the thing: Zaslav apparently does not, from his own words, doesn't think they need it. What replaces it? I love AEW, but that's not gonna. Dude, live sports is always going to outdraw most wrestling programs, even WWE. So why they struggle? They're struggling with when the NBA playoffs are on. When Monday Night Football happens, Raw drops in ratings because of that. You just, as much as wrestling brings in, it's live sports is embedded to the American culture, unlike these other niche things are. So, I don't know. But from day one, it just seemed like he didn't want it. Like he could do without it. And I'm like, I remember we had this conversation months ago when he first brought that up, and I'm like, did you just say that? And I thought, okay, well, maybe he's just, trying to, this part of the deal making process, part of the bargaining process. But here we are about to enter into the last year, and you don't want to enter into the last year of a contract without some type of agreement or extension. That really destabilizes your program. Yeah, like I said, it's been working. I'm not a big fan of that because, like I said, I usually Christmas Day, and I said that I when I spoke before, that's how tired I am. That Christmas doesn't fall. It's not going to matter whether it falls on a Sunday. The NFL will put it on any day. I don't know if the players are too happy about that, but I don't know where Brad is. He was sending me info all day, and then like I said, whenever he goes to the movie, he takes his old people nap, and last time he did that, he never showed. So How does David even have a job? Like, bros, I think this guy. I think that his job was to get the company where he got it, get it combined with Discovery and create a different company and bolster what his company was. I don't know how far beyond that. The reason why guys like this have jobs because it's really hard to get rid of them unless you merge or unless they leave. I don't think he'll be fired, but he could be voted out of office though. I mean, because the chairman of the board can call a vote, and the stockholders, the majority of stockholders, are going to be like, we don't like this seven. I mean, I don't know how close that is to happening. I think he was. I don't think he's lost from the company by his own will. I think his mission is accomplished. I think if he packages up this company and sells it to somebody else, he gets a big payoff. Shit, he got $39 million in a bonus of what, about a month ago. So he would get a massive stock buyout and stock dividend if he were to sell the company. He would just ride off into the sunset, and it would just be someone else coming in and merging it with whatever the company is. Like I said, I don't even know if it's going to be Warner Brothers Discovery anymore, because the new owner would be like, I think we'll change that name if it's Comcast or Apple Discovery. I mean, it could be anything right now. So I think he's arranging things for a big golden parachute. I don't think he's going to be around that long. At either one, Music Man. I'll recognize both. Hi, very funny, hilarious. How you doing, Lane? Oh, I don't know. Nothing crashed here. It might have been me adjusting it because I bought myself in because I like the way it fades in. So instead of doing this, after, instead of doing that after the intro rolls, I was already here. So it might have been me adjusting the mic, and that's what you guys might have heard because I unmute myself and I have myself up. So when the intro runs out, I'm already sitting here. So you might have heard that. You might have heard the mic being moved around. That's all I can guess. I thought you guys were just joking about some. I didn't get the metaphor, so no, nothing broke. Yeah. This is what I'm thinking, and I'm like, I am not in the room where these decisions are being made, so it's just weird to me. I mean, these are things that bolster the value of your company and the faith in your company. And if you're willing to let them go by the wayside, then what else are you letting it go by the wayside? What else are you willing to compromise or not have happen or follow through? I mean, like I said, to me, it calls into question of it calls in DC Comics. How committed to you with DC Comics? How committed to you, on a lot of the stuff that needs to happen to get these things back on track? If you couldn't maintain ownership of the NBA, something you walked into, I just don't understand how any of these things. Why should I believe in anything going forward when it comes to this company? I should just take a permanent back seat, I guess. 21 Pilots is back and better than ever. I didn't know they went away. I like a couple of songs from them. One in particular, "Holding On to You." I heard that in a commercial once, and then I Shazammed it, and that's how I found out who they were. And then they did the Suicide Squad soundtrack song. It's um, it wasn't the best episode. I like Raynor though. I like Raynor's. I really. I know this is next episode. Next week is the last episode, but I really need to see some of these characters in other places. I really like Raynor. He came on. This is his first season. Obviously, it's the last season, but I I love him from episode one. His evolution of his character. I really would like to see him somewhere else. Um, he can. still, I don't think. Hold on, I don't think that's the case anymore because he sold some off. Hold on for a second. Just want to look at this up because I know he obviously when he created the company, I think the company WBD owns the majority of stock versus what the people who came over from AT&T when they created the new um, because stock does own. Just gives me his network. Well, shit, he's been selling stock. That hasn't been making news, but he's been selling stock all year. Yeah, I gotta look this up. There's a lot of answers that just popped up, but I don't know if he owns a majority. I know I think the company in general still owns. I don't think that is necessarily always transferable to the CEO because you also have stockholders who literally, you know, have millions invested in this as well. I got to look that up, Anton. Let's see. Decepticons, hilarious. Okay, so we banned everything else. So here comes Deadpool. All right, sure. Like in general, like yeah, there are, but I'd love to interview Denny Villeneuve. I would love to interview Ridley Scott. I would love to interview Francis for a couple of. Realistically, it's probably going to be local people that I meet that are doing local movies or people through trauma. I mean, there's a lot of trauma. I'll be honest with you, I still want to interview James Gunn. I'd like to interview Zack Snyder, Sam Raimi. There's a list of people, but like I said, I don't exist on that level. So there you go. Give me recommendations of what to see do in LA on my own, please. Go downtown and there are tours. Visit the historical buildings that are downtown, mainly the Bradbury Building. Visit the Bradbury Building. It's open to the public. You can take a look at that. The LA Museum is one of the best museums in the entire world. Visit that. There's a lot of food establishments. Hank's Pizza. I mean, well, remind me. I'll send you a list of places that I frequent, and all depends on where you're going to be staying too, because it's hard to get around. You've been to LA. It's depending on where you're going to be at. A lot of the stuff I do when I'm in LA is in downtown proper LA, and and if I have enough time, depending on how long you're going to be down there, I go back and forth between San Bernardino because that's my where I grew up. So depending on where you're going to be and how long you're going to be there, but those start with those. Yeah, just about everything is going to make good streaming content. Furiosa, like I said, I haven't seen Apes yet. It's just I've been busy, and this weekend's going to be even busier. We made a lot of progress on the air conditioner this week. Both air conditioners, we got both of them repaired because to balance out everything, and so there's two compressor motors have been replaced, and they had to basically. The reason why it took so long is because the units are literally Castro and Kennedy and Khrushchev were probably calling each other on the red hotline, or not established at that point, but negotiating with each other when those air conditioning units. But I shit you not, the building is old as hell, but it is what it is. I'm gonna try. We got Memorial Day holiday. I mean, I'm going to AEW Double or Nothing this Sunday. I may call. I don't know. It's just whenever I'm not doing my normal thing, it's because I'm doing something else, and it's just this whole theater thing is. And they didn't do a screening of that one here in Vegas, so that would have been my thing. Yeah, me too. Like I said, the dude crashes. Well, to his defense, he's on East Coast, so it's kind of tough for him. I really put him through a lot by being on a Pacific time zone show, and then being on as late as I am. So the fact that we get Brad as much as we do is really all right. Jefferson William. I'm just starting to get in NBA and WBA. How does the game work with teams? So, you're probably going to see a lot of Iowa Fever because that's where Caitlin Clark plays, and she's a big name right now. I have a team here. We have a team here called the Las Vegas Aces. They're 2-time defending champions. You can watch them. Depending on what market you're in, I would just find a game. ESPN televises a lot of them now, but you're going to get a lot more. When you see a game televised, like with Angel Reese or Caitlin Clark or any of the other people, just gravitate to that and just listen to the commentators. That's where you learn about, for me, in my lifetime, whether it be baseball, listening to Vin Scully, listening to these guys, listening to them discuss the games and the rules. That's the best way to get involved and feel like you're involved in the game. So just pick a game, any game that's on TV, and just watch it. Same thing goes for the NBA. I mean, right now, it's limited right now because you only have the 4 teams. You have the Dallas Mavericks, you have Minnesota Wolves, Timberwolves, and then you have Boston Celtics, and then you have Indiana Pacers. Well, you'll have Indiana Pacers for a couple more games at least. But right now, you can watch those on national television. You'll understand the differences between the games. Like I said, the WB, the men's game, obviously, we're bigger, we're stronger, we play a much more physical game. But the same rules apply. It's just played differently because you have some big girls, you have some six girls, 6 really big girls, and they power their way through. But a lot of it is fundamental basketball because the power game isn't necessarily there. Obviously, the physical differences between us are big, but it's still good basketball. So that's what I would do. Then those are the teams I would take a look at. Let's see. Behalf of the Home Theater. They can't even get people to show up. I don't even know if they still do that at the Excalibur. This leads to our opening topic because I think that that is going to all come together depending on how this deal with the NBA happens or doesn't happen. If it doesn't happen, then Tony Khan's gonna probably want a lot more money. And if there's no NBA, they're probably going to be more inclined to give him everything he wants. They want his program on streaming because even though it's scripted, it's still a live sport. They want people on that streaming service, and especially their pay-per-views. See, the biggest advantage WWE has right now when they're on these other streamers, you have what's called PLE, which is paid live events, premium live events. You're paying just, as long as you're paying the premium monthly service, you get them. Before Peacock and WWE Network and all that, you were paying $49, $59, $69 per pay-per-view. Right now, the average pay-per-view to watch an AEW pay-per-view is $49. That's kind of pricey. Like I said, we always tell you about what the family dynamics are. I mean, if you get people together to watch it, I guess, but, it's still kind of tough. But if they go on HBO Max, then if you're paying the premium fee for HBO Max, you would get these pay-per-views for just that price instead of paying that money. And it would allow them to increase the number of pay-per-views, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but it's inevitable. It's inevitable that AEW will have 12 pay-per-views a year, if not more. And what that does is that brings subscribers to HBO Max and, exclusively for the streaming service. So, but it's just how it's going to happen. To me, it's inevitable. It's inevitable. It's just a matter of Tony Khan now is just basically sitting back in the catbird seat waiting. Okay, you're about to lose the highest rated thing you have. That makes me the highest rated thing you have. And he's going to want more money. And you know what, Tony Khan, I'm all for it. He bet on himself, and if this turns out the way it did, he deserves to get that money. I love his programming, and it's one of the 2 reasons I watched the Warner networks. So Tony Khan was smart to hold out. Okay, I saw the writing on the wall from him hating, beginning with him hating animated projects, which is okay. It's not a matter of, I don't think he has any feelings or a soul when it comes to those anyway. it's not a fact of hating animated projects. They don't draw. There have been CEOs and higher execs the last 25 to 30 years who have openly said that. But they've always said, but don't worry, you're never going to get rid of them because they're a part of our being, all that. It was inevitable that somebody was going to come along and take a look at the numbers and the viewerships and do the same thing he did with those. So I agree with him there. Anybody who's doing dollars and cents and doesn't want to pay for things that aren't drawing should have come to that conclusion decades ago. It's just that there is a sentimental part in a lot of these old guys' heart for Warner Brothers Animation, even though it doesn't draw. And you're paying for it to sit on your streaming services and in your formats when nobody's watching it. And like I said, movie-wise, it's been a non-starter. It's been a non-starter for a long time. The only way that there's good money in animation for Warner Brothers is that they license it out. What they did with the Cape Crusader is probably going to be the norm from here on out. I doubt that you're going to see any regime of Warner Brothers pouring a lot of money into animation, but they will license it out to other people who can afford to do it, and who afford to put the kind of budget in it. You don't want cheap shit. At $70 million is not everything, but if you're not going to draw at least that, then it becomes very expensive. So that's something that the predecessors of the predecessors of the predecessors should have done. But The Dark Knight. What are we talking about? You're talking to Dark Knight. Sorry. Yeah, well, he's trying to make it lean for somebody else to either purchase or I don't know. At least AT&T understood that this was a big deal, and they were playing the big leagues and got out quick. His con is just messing up. Well, there's no going back. This is an all-in move by him. This is a legacy move by him. There's no way he can't get out. Well, he can, but we've explained the ways that he would have to. The biggest casualty will be losing inside. Yeah. Like I said, there are a lot of people who don't necessarily watch the show. Dude, there are people I know that watch when the playoffs happen. They're watching the show for when the teams get eliminated to see the gone fishing things that they have on there. I mean, that's a brand. Charles Barkley, Kenny Anders. These are Shaq. I mean, these are brand names. They're in your living room. They're literally how the connection between the IP and the living room. And you're gonna we'll be losing TNT with Barkley, Shaq, Ernie. And I can't even say it. I cannot believe that this is a possibility. That show means a lot to basketball and sports in general, splitting them up. And this is what Charles is. Let me bring you up what Charles said. Because, yeah. All right, Charles Barkley calls out clown boss David. By the way, he is his boss. Calls out clown boss David Zaslav for potentially losing the NBA rights. And in his quote, he came out and said, "We don't need the NBA," and probably pissed off Adam Silver off. But the people who work here, we need it. And then he's talking about, and he also makes the connection of a lot of jobs and stuff that are production jobs that are connected to NBA, that product. I mean, like I said, the NBA right now is hot. It's on the upswing, and what's going on with the WBA and women's college basketball is going to help the the NBA proper, simply because for a long time the WNBA came out in 1997. I think it was 1996, 1997. It was the first season, and it's taken a while. It's still a relatively young league, but it's now starting to hit that stride now. It's now starting to get personalities. And a lot of the NBA teams are subsidized and owned by NBA owners who use these networks and these platforms to elevate each other. So so the NBA basketball in general is on the upswing. Yeah. They got outbid by Disney. I do remember that, but at the same time, they got out of the bidding. They could have made a couple more bids, but they didn't think they could justify the expenditure at the time. Whoa, they were wrong. They were wrong. Let's see. Yep, hit the like, subscribe, and like I said, if you want to donate, you can. About to purchase my. I got a bead on some tickets. I got a decent package getting ready for Comic-Con because I got to get out of Vegas in July. I can't. Even though I'm happy that we haven't had all the damage, that happened during the springtime and everything else. I still need to get away from Las Vegas for a few days. It's just basically a vacation. I mean, and I got to get to my home state. So I am going to be making my move probably the next week or the week afterwards. I'm eyeballing my. My deal. I'm going to be going 40-degree difference. Kicking back. You guys remember those pictures I sent you last year when I was on the beach and the waves were coming up to me, and like I said, I'm standing there fully knowing that 4 days from that point I was going to have to get on a plane and come back to what was literally hell at that time. Little did I know the next 6 months would be Noah's Ark, but I just didn't want to come back. Even though I'm not from San Diego, it's still Southern California. Southern California in July. Oh my God. So and like I said, I am planning to get to somewhere where I can do really, really nice content for the show. And I didn't have Brad last year. Brad was on the co-host last year, so I think it's going to be kind of cool because Brad can anchor the show so that we can do a lot. But I watched our shows from last year. It was all right, but I was thinking the whole time. I was thinking last year that if I ever got back to this point again, I want to have it all set up and all looking nice. So yeah, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the donate button, do whatever you think is good. Let's see. William, my comment was referring to adding legendary Godzilla films to the band. Oh no, I love those, and they're getting better. We would have to ban Monarch. I don't want to ban Monarch. Let's see. Let's see. William, you have to do a watch Law for Beverly Hills Cop franchise so that people can see the power of Eddie Murphy. And we may. We still got to get. Oh, by the way, remember this weekend we're as we continue to honor our commitments to our pledges that got us to our 15.5 when it came to AFSP. We will be watching the Blade Runner, the final cut, and we will be watching Blade Runner 2049 directly following that this Saturday, probably at about 1 or so. Because those movies are long. Just a reminder. Yeah, and like I said, you're talking to a hockey fan, one of the 4 black hockey fans in the world, but there's more than that. But I love the NHL. But I mean, if it was up to me, it's like if I had to cut a contract, it'd be an NFL. It'd be Major League Baseball. I'm not cutting the NBA. It's just you just cultivated that, for 40 years. Yes, thank you. I saw that. I like that. Thank you for putting out what Vince is talking about. He cut up some of the Star Trek interviews and stuff from the Star Trek Weekly show, and he put them back on the site and into shorts. So, and then he has the narration, the subtitles there, so you can kind of read along with it. So, thank you for doing that. Hey William, what would it take WBD stock to rise? I thought it would go up since WBD movies have been making bank with Dune 2, GXK, and maybe Beetlejuice Joker 2. Direction. There's no movie, including Superman, that's going to do anything for the stock. What needs to happen is there needs to be stability for one. Like this isn't stability we're talking about today. Stability and a plan for growth. Right now, they're all over the place, and it's really hard to. It's like I said, it's just as like a viewer. The same thing with people think about doing with their money. Um, you know, same thing with viewers. Doing with their time. It's the same thing. If you don't see that the product and the people who are producing it are stable, you tend to stay away. That includes viewers and that includes buyers. They don't want to jump in. People's time is as valuable as their money in some cases. And nobody wants to waste either if they don't think that there's a cohesive long-term plan that actually has a chance of being successful. With a lot of Warner Brothers Discovery stuff is people are hoping that these things do well. We're hoping that we have, a big box office job. We're hoping that Superman does well. That's not a plan. That's just keeping your fingers crossed. So what investors really need to see is a big plan and how are you drawing revenue? What are you doing to grow my money? Right now, I don't see anything that they're doing that would grow any of that. That's why the stock is going the other way. You have to have these things laid out when you have these meetings. They're up front the other day sucked. So people want to hear a plan. They want to hear a grand design, and they want to hear how you're generating. What are you doing to generate revenue? And the only thing that WBD seems to be in the style of doing is taking things off the table, not putting things on the table, and then limiting what they put on the table. Like right now, I'll just be honest with you, they're wasting the DCIP on so many levels. They are wasting the DCIP cinematically by their limited scope of things. They are wasting the DCIP on paper, and on TV they're wasting it. And then the whole mentality of the whole small screen, the values, big screen bullshit. That kind of stuff devalues because you're not doing things. You're not using the IPs in ways that generates revenue on several different levels. You're just doing it all on one and hoping that pans out. That's just not good. Investors don't want to hear that shit. So that's what they would need to do. Because like I said, these movies, if you combine all these movies, they don't draw the kind of revenue that a overall company should be drawing. I mean, they don't even get all that revenue. So there's no amount of movies right now that would you could say, well, if those movies do well, it's a trend. But the people who put down money want to see how much money is coming back, and this is not going to do it. That's all. That's another thing too. Is if if you see things that look like they're paring themselves down to be sold, then why would you invest? You just who knows what that next merger is going to do to that stock. How you doing, Chappie? Because okay, well, this is a good question. Why did they change Madam Web at the last second? Because they are too reliant on the glow that they get from the MCU. What they need to do is read the room and understand that there are Spider-Men that are already out there for them that people love, that you can still make a lot of money out of. They are, too much of their stuff, and so if they couldn't get that tie, they scrapped the whole thing, which is stupid. That's why I hope Lord and Miller take over. Yeah, and I mean, like I said, you had the merger, but you also had the previous regime running the company into the ground too. So. Yes, I was watching that pay per view. That was WWF at the time. It hadn't been forced to change to WWE. WWF No Way Out. Owen Hart, Blue Blazer, was doing his routine, the thing that he had done 100 times, coming out of the scaffolding. He would fly into the ring on a little rig that he had, and it was and other WWE stars had used it. Sting had been using it a bunch of times. He would come straight down using it. What ended up happening is the device malfunctioned, and the thing that was supposed to slow him down never did, and he went full speed into the turnbuckle, causing a blunt force trauma to his respiratory system and his cardiac system. He went in, and there was bleeding. and then there was a cardiac arrest, and he died that night. I remember watching that live when that happened. Now they didn't show it; the camera panned away when you saw him go by, but you didn't see an impact, and then they turned the cameras away. They let you know about a half hour that Owen Hart had passed away. I remember that like it was yesterday. I was watching that pay-per-view when that happened. So not a we'll 25 years. He was young. He was only 33 years old when he passed. Let's see. William, if you could keep only one streaming app forever with the current content available, no cable, no other way, probably be HBO Max. To be honest with you, much as I dog on it, it still has most of my stuff on there that I like. I don't really care about set visits, and if they do get rid of NBA, then I have to agree with you about it. Yeah, I mean, well, if you can't keep that, if something like that crosses all kinds of demographic boundaries isn't important enough for you, what else is it? Everything else kind of pales in comparison in some cases, especially the way they're currently managing. Oh shit, that's why he didn't see me. Oh yeah, Koreatown, Chinatown, in LA is awesome. It's almost its own city. Amazon will be a close second for me because I use Amazon for more than just. I use Amazon to have stuff shipped to me. I use their products. Oh no, that was true. He still listen. That's the goal. They need to right now. They have 100 and over 125. So no, the goal should be because once you have that, and just do the math. 350 million times $16. It equals out to a lot of money. So I believe he wanted that. I just don't think he's done the things to to get that. Yes, I heard that. I don't know if I want to learn it from Darby Allin because Darby Allin is crazy. If you want to have a long career, I don't know if learning from Darby Allin, who literally puts his body in situations that just make me wonder if everything's going to be okay. So, yeah. I don't know. I did keep. Well, he probably turned it down because of the way the position had been handled prior, and the brand name in DC studios and films and all that just didn't have a good reputation, and he probably saw how they ran their business, and just didn't want to be part of it, and he may have just not wanted to be tethered. He's a director, not necessarily a studio head. Some of these directors are not suited. Even James Gunn is not suited necessarily to be a studio head. That's why he brought Saffron on with him. And he even turned it down at the beginning. So, like I said, it's though I will never know exactly unless I were to interview Todd Phillips and ask him, hey, why'd you turn that gig down? Which he probably would not answer because he still is making films for Warner Brothers. So. Gunn was not their first choice. Yeah, he was asked, but I do not believe he was their first choice because they interviewed other people. I mean, because he turned them down after those people, from what I understand. You can quote, don't quote me, but he was asked after the other people had turned it down, and originally said no at that point, but then thought about it, and if he could bring Peter Safran on with him, that's what because Dennis Lynn or Dan Lynn, that Todd Phillips, all those there were other guys too that are not big names that were considered before James Gunn was, as far as my understanding goes. Because Fox is in the exact same opposite spot as WBD. They had Fox, or they had baseball, they had football, and they had NASCAR. Those are their two biggest draws, and as long as they had those, they didn't care about these little shows. Don't get me started on that. Oh, you're saying he was not. He was not. Okay, I got you. Sorry. About to wrap it up here. Okay. Yeah, John Malone. So, yeah, and I mean, I'm just saying, how long is that guy's stock is what's going up and down. I mean, he's probably got way more stocks than anybody else. Obviously, he does. Do you want it? How long you want it sitting at $7.60? What's that? Oh, did you message me? Oh, you're taking notes. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a little bit slow on the emojis, and I'm tired. So. Yeah, he'd probably quit. He'd probably quit. La Brea Tar Pits. Yeah, that's a good one. I went to that as a kid. That's the creepiest thing, which is kind of cool. Yeah, Bradbury Building is I've been there. It's really cool. I mean, it's where they shot Blade Runner. At least the last scenes of Blade Runner. Yeah, those are a good list. I've been there recently. I'm always going to be a Los Angelino. It's in my blood. Yeah, almost as I'm just behind him. I'm about 9.6 billion behind him. Oh, look, my favorite serial killers. My favorite Scottish serial killers here. No early stream on Friday. I'll probably have a late night stream this Friday night, which is tonight. We are watching Blade Runner Final Cut and Blade Runner 2049 this Saturday, double feature. As far as Sunday goes, I'm going to AEW's Double or Nothing, so I don't know what our streaming schedule will be for. Yeah. How did he pull that one off? Nah, no worries. I got it. Oh, look who's here at the end of the show. Posting the filter pics, girl. No. It's a light night for everybody. Let's see. So do I. I know he's going to be here in Vegas this week, so hope he's okay. He's getting up there. Oh, there he is. The tattoo king himself. I'm just going through the chat as much as I can before I wrap it up. Yeah, she's struggling right now because she's on a bad team, which is your number one draft pick. You're usually going to be on a bad team, but I think she'll be fine. I think she'll round out once she gets used to the professional game. She'll be all right. No. Tell me what to do. I'll go pantsless if I want to. Okay, you guys are saying something. Torta, you got to talk. Well, I'm a network that gets NBA. Just do a rebrand of its at NBA. I don't know how that's gonna work because I know certain people are under contract directly to Warner Brothers, and certain people are hired on for the show itself. So I don't know how long the contracts, how they be bought. I'm not real sure of how that would work out. Curious though. Like I said, I didn't think we would come to this point, so I haven't gotten to the. Okay. Oh, I was surprised. To be honest with you, I was surprised you weren't live streaming from your phone from Comic Con. Do it this year. More material. Make sure it's on. Yeah, and like I said, you and me weren't communicating on that level yet. We knew obviously we were doing stuff, but not on that level yet. So yeah, I would definitely be I'd definitely be doing it from the phone. I have it set up to where I will be setting up at different places from the phone. Cock up hill. Wow. I don't think that's true. But if it was, that's that. I don't know why he wasn't the fit for the job. Yeah, camels are fucking disgusting, and they spit, and they can spit long distances that will surprise you, and they're nasty. Ugh. Ugh. Uh, no, there are no camel spiders in Vegas. Oh, you're talking about camel. Oh, camel spiders. Yeah, them things are. I thought I'm like, oh, camels are nasty in general. Ugh. But camel spiders are, yeah, they're kind of creepy looking, but they're harmless. I mean, they look fearsome, but they're really just trying to get out of the shade so their bodies don't blow up. Um, I personally think that he's getting ready to make a big move to ride off into the sunset. Do we? I didn't think we had them over here. Ugh. I never. I've been all the times I went to NTC, I never saw them. But then again, I was focusing on other shit. So. What I got garlic sausage and a garlic salad. A salad with a bunch of garlic vegetables and stuff on it. I can see it from here. It's a pretty big salad too. The sausages are just off to the side, but they're like turkey garlic sausages. So lots of garlic tonight. Yeah, huntsmans are huge, but I've heard Aaron will be able to tell us that they're harmless. People keep them as pets. I not me. I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Let's see. We will. Like I said, it's probably when I'm going to see it for the first time because I'm probably not going to be able to get to the movies to see it. All right, it's probably one of the last ones, and then actually we're going to show the Beverly Hills thing, and then we'll wrap it up. Since they are pushing into DC Universe first, with the Batman 2 not releasing at least after Supergirl, we can say that we're not getting Constantine anytime soon. I don't know what we're getting. I just, like I said, every time somebody tells me that certain things are going to happen, I'm looking at the company and I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like I said, I have no reason to believe that we would get anything after maybe the first one or two movies of James Gunn DCU, depending on what the company. And it doesn't have anything to do whether they're good or not or how much money they make. If there's new leadership, they'll want to go their own direction and put their stamp, their ego on it. So I don't know. I don't know where that puts Constantine at. I think the Batman is outside of that because I think that you can come in and not disrupt that. You know, you could actually come in and not derail James Gunn stuff. You can just deprioritize it. So yeah, that's probably on the back burner for now. Yeah, there's your Aussie right there. Nah, that thing's huge. I would take me a couple of sittings to eat that. All right, let's go find this Beverly Hills Cop. All right, let's see. Share screen. All right, I'm really looking forward to this. This will be how we wrap up tonight, and it's Netflix's, so they shouldn't knock me off. But let's make sure it's Netflix for it. Yeah, this is official Netflix. So probably still get kicked off, but I'll be able to fight it. Here we go.
Good morning, everybody. It's another beautiful day here in Beverly Hills.
What the hell was that?
Let me guess. Foley.
Did you say Foley? Foley! You stole a helicopter!
I didn't realize that you couldn't really fly a helicopter. Otherwise, I would have came up with a different idea.
I told you it was a bad idea! Oh, hey! He shot my roller off! Shit!
This is very embarrassing. Part of me rather get locked up than get put in this little Fisher-Price looking squad car. Y'all are the Lego cops.
Jane, hey, this is your father. Before you hang up, I'm in town. I've been arrested. Hello?
You sure y'all paying y'all's bills? Because this phone don't work.
This isn't my first time in Beverly Hills.
Yeah, I saw that. 84, 87, and then 94. But this place has changed a bit.
What brings you back to 90210?
I got a call from Billy. He's in trouble now. What do you want from me?
I want you to be a cop again. You gotta do something.
Axel, if you damage any city property,
You're in a snowplow?
Yeah, we in a damn snowplow. What's the problem? A lot of blind spots in the snowplow.
I'm on an undercover mission with Wait, fully. You're pissing off a lot of people.
That means we're getting close. Y'all safe? Everybody safe?
There's no seatbelt in the middle.
The hell with the seatbelt? We on the edge.
We're gonna need some backup.
Whoa! What are you doing?
Getting us some backup. God, I missed you, Axel.
I cannot wait to see that on July 3rd. I am somebody who grew up watching those movies. And like I said, if you watch this show for any length of time, you know how I feel about nostalgia. I don't want it going forward for in most cases, but I'll take it on a case-by-case basis when it comes to certain things. Everything that makes the Beverly Hills franchise work is still there, including many of the people and a apparently ageless Eddie Murphy, who's pressing 60. In fact, I think he's older. He's in his 60s. He looks great. He still looks good enough to do these movies. The same thing that that inspired the Bad Boys movies and things like that. A lot of that came from Beverly Hills Cop. It just seems to have the same energy. Like I said, July 3rd, we will be doing a watch party for that on July 3rd. We will be doing, you guys, we will be seeing it for the first time together. So there's that little announcement. I can't wait for Beverly Hills Cop. So our four. So I forgot what number it is. I know I've seen them all. So there you go. Blame Brad. It's got to be hard to blame Brad tonight because he ain't here. Paul Reiser even comes back from me. He's actually funny, and he's like I said, these movies work. And like I said, I am a forward-thinking guy. I don't want to see a lot of the past unless you can make it work. Top Gun, they made it work. But sometimes it's just nostalgia for nostalgia. You're trying to relive and recreate a feeling from a certain era. This, they're not. They're taking the things from a certain era and they're bringing it up here and making it so. I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right. I think that's how we're going to wrap it up. Let's see. Why am I seeing? All right, just to clarify, it's international cut. No, it's the final cut. That was with the one that was requested for the donation. I wish it was an international cut. I would prefer it to be an international cut, but like I said, I will be there to explain the movie for you guys and without the voiceover. So there you go. All right, just going over making sure. All right, guys, that is going to do it for the night. Went solo the whole time, so I'm going to go ahead and get some food in me, get some sleep. Got a very busy weekend, very busy day tomorrow. Like I said, I will not be on until later on in the evening if I'm on at all. Saturday, we'll do our normal show. Sunday, I will be at AEW Double or Nothing, so we'll be talking that on Sunday night. So, all right, guys, that is it. Let me bring out my because I've been slipping up lately. Like I said, this is. Any number of things can drive you to depression, to drive you to needing some help. Instead of trying to diagnose it yourself or for your people, get them help. Get them 988. There's going to be a special fundraising thing. I saw Zack Snyder posted it somewhere to where if you donate to FSP, that they will match your some corporation will match it. I got to look at the details. We might be in on that, but if you need it, there you are. And until what's up? We're still joking about Brad skipping content. Yeah, I'm sure he'll enjoy that one. All right, guys, that's it for me. I will see you later on this evening, probably around 11:30ish. Lord willing, Can't even find my outro. I got so many of these. I can't even find my outro anymore. I have to dig through these to find my outro. There it is.